Hello everyone! When we spoke about the five images, we saw how each of them reflects us from a different perspective. The inner image, the outer image, other's image, the life image, and the other's expectations. A deep understanding of these images helps us see the truth about ourselves, how honest we are with ourselves and with others, and what inconsistencies we carry within. Return to these images throughout the course and keep adding to them as new depths of awareness open up to you. But understanding alone is not enough for the emotional blueprint reset and for stepping out of repeating scenarios. For the map of images you have laid out to come alive and become more than just an intellectual exercise, we need a tool that moves us forward, giving rise to an even deeper understanding of ourselves and through that making the transformation of life itself possible. That tool is the power of speech. The Sanskrit term is Vak Shakti, and it makes it possible to turn the inner alignment of the images into something real that shows up in your words, your actions, and your relationships. When your images are aligned and begin to resonate with one another, true power of speech is born. And then every word you speak and every intention you carry begins to manifest in reality. Life is your mirror. It shows what your inner and outer speech is filled with, whether harmony and agreement or contradiction and tension. So the power of speech, or Vak Shakti, is the ability to speak in such a way that every word matches your inner truth and carries it outward. It is not just about saying words, it is the ability to bring the inner and the outer together in such a way that the other person can feel your authenticity. That is why speech is power. Through it, bridges are built and walls come down. Let's go deeper into what the power of speech actually does. The power of speech rests on three energetic pillars: the ability to listen, first to yourself, then to the other person, awareness in the moment, what am I creating with this phrase, and the alignment of the five images. When you speak this way, things become clearer and calmer for the other person, while inside you, inner support begins to appear, a sense of agreement with yourself and a flow of energy for action. The power of speech is the foundation of how we relate to ourselves and to others, and it is a tool for manifesting reality. Without it, even the deepest insights about yourself, about others, and about life remain nothing more than dry knowledge and do not change your reality. When your words match your inner truth, they begin to reshape your energy. In relationships, guesswork disappears. What has gone unsaid begins to clear. Trust appears and fear dissolves. Inside, you begin to feel wholeness and lightness, along with a sense of power ready to move into action. If we do not use this power, we drown in doubts, assumptions, and fears, sink into resentment, and get trapped in our own words. The power of speech is needed to bring situations to completion. Otherwise, inconsistencies will keep multiplying. Remember, every word spoken aloud or even silently to yourself begins to vibrate in your energetic field, because behind it lies your semantic representation, the inner meaning you attach to it, and that vibration is either harmonious or contradictory. Let me give you an example. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," a person says, "It matters to me to be heard all the way through. I feel thrown off when I'm interrupted." In one case, there is conflict and the energy of victimhood. In the other, there is cooperation and the energy of someone creating her own reality. The power of speech makes energetic completion possible. It clears away vagueness, doubt, things left unsaid, and energetic tails, resentment, regret, sadness, anger, aggression, and the thoughts that keep you stuck on that level. The power of speech is the ability to move forward. Without it, any path gets stuck in a closed loop of everyday repetition and emptiness. The power of speech is a direct connection to the very flow of creation, like plugging into the current that energizes life itself. Now, let's make this practical. How can you practice the power of speech? The practice begins with a pause. Take a gentle breath in and let the breath out a little longer. Then honestly name to yourself what you feel and what you want. Next, lean on a simple structure. Feeling, fact, what matters to me, request. This turns into speech that is not only clear and easy for the other person to understand, but also aligned with you, your desires, and who you choose to be in that moment. For example, you could structure it like this. I feel confused when we get close and then you suddenly become distant. It matters to me to feel consistency and truth in a relationship. Can we talk honestly about what this connection means to you? It is a simple form, but it builds a bridge. After you say it, check in with your body. Does it feel lighter? If not, adjust the wording. It is important to remember, VAC is not only what we say to others, but also what we say to ourselves. Inner VAC always sounds first. Ask yourself, what am I creating with this phrase? If tension arises inside, the phrase is not yet aligned. If lightness appears, it is ready to go out into the world. Every word, even a word not spoken aloud, has already begun to vibrate in your energetic field because it is connected to your semantic representation, the inner meaning you attach to it, whether that meaning is harmonious or contradictory. The purity of outward speech is born only from inner agreement. The practice of the power of speech is the habit of checking your words for honesty toward yourself and toward others, for simplicity and for energy, and then your words begin to work for you. The practice of the power of speech is the habit of checking your words for honesty toward yourself and toward others, for simplicity and for energy, and then your words begin to work for you. Now let's connect everything together. The power of speech binds the power of listening and the 5 images into one whole. If I speak from feeling, from the inner image, I remain honest with myself. I do not betray myself. If I clearly express my aligned outer image, I stop hiding behind masks and become authentic. If I clarify others' image, was I able to express myself clearly? I build trust and remove distortion. If I rewrite the life image, I realize life is not a struggle, but a training ground, and I act with confidence rather than fear. If I let go of others' expectations, I can say, I hear that X is expected of me, but my decision is Y, and I remain whole. The power of speech is the energy that connects all these images and makes them a living reflection of your transformation. Wholeness is born within, and it is precisely that wholeness that begins to reflect in outer life. The power of speech is inseparable from the 5 images. Without it, they remain nothing more than a set of separate perspectives. There is a simple way to understand whether the power of speech is active in you. After a conversation, both you and the other person should feel more lightness, more clarity, and more freedom. If you do not feel the need to justify yourself and nothing is left unsaid and no doubts remain, then you were speaking from VAC. But if tension, resentment, and the feeling of not being heard remains after your words, then it is a sign that your speech is still out of alignment with your inner truth and the images are not yet integrated. Every word carries vibration. If it is born from inner honesty, it strengthens you and harmonizes the space around you. But if it is spoken from fear or misalignment, it creates interference and you feel it immediately. In the first case, there is lightness and agreement. In the second, heaviness and dissonance. If a person does not develop the power of speech, VAC, they become stuck in a world of misunderstanding and repeating scenarios. This inner gap between the images keeps producing the same words and feelings. I wasn't heard. I'm explaining myself again. Something's wrong with me. I'm too much. I'm not enough. For example, I'm asking for too much in a relationship, or I'm not good enough to be loved, or something must be wrong with me if I'm alone. These words become self-fulfilling scenarios that keep you trapped in the past. Thoughts of this kind do not arise in a person whose five images are aligned and reinforce one another. Within such a person, very different words begin to sound, words of agreement, strength, and creation. That is exactly why the practice of the power of speech is so important. It helps you stop repeating old scenarios, quiet the inner noise, and hear the voice of your own truth more clearly. Then you can connect with people who match your truth, not your noise. The power of speech is not just a tool of communication. It is a mirror of your inner wholeness and a direct thread connecting you to the flow of creation. Every word born from alignment with truth becomes a vibration that shapes the events, people, and circumstances around you. When your five images are aligned and come together as one, speech stops being just a collection of words and becomes the living breath of your energy. Then every word, even never spoken aloud, already begins to create a new reality. Remember, life always responds to you in your own voice. The clearer and the more honest that voice sounds, the more harmonious the reflection the world returns to you. Let your speech be the source of power, completion, and manifestation, a doorway into the life you choose. You will succeed. I believe in you. In the next video, we'll move into the practical exercises.